You see
Men,
plenty of fit 30-year-olds.
statistic. Obviously, fleas. We know fleas can jump very high. They couldn't jump.
Why is there almost always a reason why someone's... Everyone secretly wants a fight.
Let's go talk about girly stuff and, get your mind straight. Let's go do a bit of yoga. A bit of...
They're trying to get inside your brain. They're trying to...
Exactly. Our mind is completely growing. It's completely changing. Our thinking might change.
I think that will be a very interesting and controversial topic. So, I think we should first of all just go over kind of our own personal mindset status as it currently stands, and what we've done to kind of improve it, what we still need to work on, where we find ourselves kind of falling short. You know what I mean? What do you think of that? Like, where do you think you're at in terms of mindset? Let's be really like raw and honest. Right. Let's really be like, this is what I struggle with. This is what I don't struggle with.
Where I'm at. Shall I start with what I want to achieve? What I'm trying to achieve? Yeah. So I'm trying to achieve this podcast, of course. This podcast is what we want to be a success.
Yeah.
And what I struggle with, I guess, is... I don't know. I don't struggle with commitment. Because I am committed. Sure. Let's start with you while I think.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you've got some answers already.
Yeah. So when it comes to mindset, I think you've kind of got to go all full in. I know that for me, my mindset was broken for years.
Yeah.
For years, man. Like, it's only been in the last kind of 2 years I really feel like I am becoming someone I actually want. I think the way I want to think, which sounds crazy, but it is amazing. You have to teach yourself to think the way you want to think. Because when you watch the news and when you see all this stuff, they want you to think in a way that is detrimental towards you, that like ruins you and the way you think. I mean, if you watch the news and they talk about like mental health and all this stuff, yeah, cool, mental health's very important. Of course it is. But they talk about it in a way where it's like depression, you might get depressed and you don't know where it's going to come from. It can affect anyone at any time, at any point. I think...
Speak about it like it's a virus, isn't it?
They talk about it like it's a virus, and they say it's all like, oh, it's chemicals in your brain. Well, yeah, but why is there almost always a reason why someone's depressed? Almost always. And I don't know if this is going to be super controversial, but I don't believe you can be depressed and have nothing wrong. Actually, change that. I think you can be depressed because there's nothing wrong. I think you can be depressed because there's nothing wrong. I think you need something in your life that is causing you stress or a fight. You need a fight.
Yeah.
And everyone secretly wants a fight. And if you don't want to fight, you're usually not. You just don't really go anywhere. You don't do anything. You're just happy drifting. But
by that we mean not physical fight.
Well, sometimes it is a physical fight.
Sometimes it is
like if
fight.
You're a UFC
we mean more
fighter,
like you need to fight for something. You know, you need to really fight for what you want to make out of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a lot of these boxers and stuff, they talk about quitting fighting, quitting boxing. Cool. And usually either they go completely off the rails when they retire, or they come back as a coach or something because they're like, I still need that fight. I need something that's going to keep me driven and keep me fighting. Yeah, and in terms of where I'm at, I mean, it's just constantly telling myself, I constantly get thoughts in my head that are detrimental, and they'll kind of sit there for a bit, and I'll think about them. Oh yeah, I'm not happy with this. Oh, I'm not good at that, and I have to literally consciously go, no, that's bullshit.
Do you know what? That's really funny you say that, because now you've said that, it's made it clear in my mind. I do that a lot of the time, and I'm constantly thinking about, I could do better. I could do this. I could do this. I could eat better. I could, what am I doing with my time? I'm consciously always thinking about what I'm doing with my time, all the time. To the point where it hurts my head sometimes.
Yeah.
I need to be like, because I'm always like, oh, I could be doing something way better with my time right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's good. It's better being that way than not being that way.
I think it's better than being that way than being like, oh, it doesn't matter. Because sometimes it does matter. You do need to work towards certain things. You do need
to push yourself.
Yeah. And if you don't have that voice in the back of your head saying, no, I need to work hard. I need to do more.
Yeah.
Like I can't enjoy. There's certain things I can't enjoy anymore. I can't enjoy
No.
Netflix. I can't enjoy PlayStation
Mm.
because anytime I try to sit down and do it, I'm like, there's other things that could be getting done. Am I was
Right.
just wasting time?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you are wasting time. If you're on Netflix, you're literally wasting time.
It's true. I haven't quite got to that stage yet. There's still there's still
It's a
some shows I
plague.
like.
Honestly,
Yeah.
maybe it's because I'm getting older now. I don't know, because I'm getting into
Yeah.
like mid-20s. Suddenly like, 30s knocking at the door. 6 years, like, and I'll be 30. So I need to
It's
pedal
true.
pedal to the floor for the next 6 years before 30. Because as soon as you hit 30,
Yeah.
people don't view you as someone in their 20s
No.
anymore. They view you as an adult, as a 30-year-old. That's like
It's scary, isn't it?
it's that hallmark, isn't it, of 30.
But I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, man. 20s, you don't need to fucking party and all this shit through your 20s. You need to lock in. You need to fucking lock that shit in and grind and work in your 20s. So that the point when you get mid 20s or late 20s or early 30s, you are like set, and you're happy. I watch a lot of Mike Thurston at the moment, and
Yeah.
his whole thing is like basically lock in.
Well, he's an interesting one, isn't he?
He's
Because
great.
he was. I remember. I mean, I've been watching him for about 5, 6 years. Something.
Yeah.
Remember when, like, he was living
Yeah.
in Kingston, and you could just tell he was going places because he was a 26-year-old, and he was just constantly at home making videos about training, making videos about going to the gym, about all this stuff, and he just didn't have any money. He just had a camera, himself, a mic, and his apartment. He used to make loads and loads of videos on just training, and they were very, very basic, very simple. He had a little whiteboard, would like explain everything.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes
yeah, I
simple
mean,
is
now
best, though.
he's done really well for himself, and it's just like it took from 26 to about 30. I think he 31, 32 that he moved to Dubai.
Yep.
It took all that time for him to get there, but eventually he did get there, and
Did.
yeah, he's an
Yeah,
interesting guy.
his whole thing was he feels like because he said the 9 to 5 and stuff wasn't for him, and he knew that he had to get out, and he did. That's not what he wanted to do, and he just wanted to travel and all that stuff, which is obviously appealing to everyone, and it'd be great if everyone could do something like that. And he said he didn't feel like he started living until he got to about 29, 30.
Yeah.
He said that's when I actually felt like I've started living because I'm doing everything I want to do.
But what's interesting is, yeah, he put that time and he worked hard. He didn't just mess about. But he's also a 34-year-old man, or whatever he is now.
32, I think he is.
32?
33. 32, 33, all the same.
Something like that. And yeah, he's done pretty well in life, but he's in fantastic shape as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't look old.
No.
Like he's all right.
No.
He's 30, but he doesn't. He looks 30, but he doesn't look bad for 30. You know what I mean?
No. You look at some 30-year-olds.
Like he's not aged.
And oh mate,
he's
no.
grown.
He looks great for his age.
That's the difference. I think is you can age or you can grow.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
there's a big difference between the two. And a lot of people tell you, "Oh, just wait till you get to 30. Your back goes, you get fat." It's like, no, you don't.
If you look after yourself,
you don't.
You don't.
If anyone tells you that, just tell them to fuck off. Because it's not fucking true.
No, it's not true.
It's not true. You see plenty of fit 30-year-olds who look in the best they've ever looked.
Men are supposed to peak at 35, aren't they?
Yeah, supposedly.
Supposedly. Unless you fuck up your life, drink too much.
Yeah, but most people do. Most people do. Like,
yeah,
that's the trouble.
Most people fall down that path,
Yeah.
But
exactly.
hopefully our generation has realized this. I think our generation's probably realized it more than most.
I think they have. I think it's a massive, massive thing. I think the millennial sort of generation didn't really understand this stuff. Didn't understand mindset. Didn't understand why it's important. And I think because we've grown up with this kind of rise of the internet and seeing all these, for good and for bad, that's certainly been good for the way that people think about certain things. Like, I mean, it's made certain things less fun. Parties aren't as fun as they used to be because people are now on their phones at parties. Back in the early 2000s, that was never the case. You maybe have one kid with either like a video camera or one of them like film cameras.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was any photos that were getting taken. Now it's like every girl's got their iPhone out. Dudes are doing it as well.
It's a way to avoid being socially awkward as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Easy to stand on your phone.
You stand on your own like that, it's like an automatic, oh, I'm nervous, I need to get my phone out and look at my phone because if otherwise
and then as soon as you do that, you look busy and you feel like you're protected. Whereas like people back then didn't have the the choice to go on their phone. So they had to speak to people. They can't just pull out a phone and stand there and not talk to anyone with their drink.
Yeah,
exactly. They had to look, they actually had to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Whereas we lack that, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. So like if we talk about people who develop weak mindsets versus people who develop strong mindsets, let's kind of try and think of some examples of like people that we can think of, whether it be celebrities or whatever, or maybe people we know, unnamed people we know, who have weak/strong mindsets. I mean, if you look at some of these like school shooters and stuff, quite often they are people with weak, jealous mindsets. That's how potentially dangerous a weak mindset can be.
Yeah, it can really get serious.
It can really mess you up, and you can really make some bad decisions based on that. A lot of people in jail are people who couldn't control their emotions and had a bad mindset. And when they're annoyed at someone, instead of going, forget it, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to go and work on this or that, they smashed their face in or stabbed them or whatever. Yeah, that's a lot of people in jail because of that.
Well, I think a lot of it comes back to upbringing, doesn't it? And if they had a role model to be able to tell them, But then you got to self-teach yourself. You've got to acknowledge that you've had a terrible upbringing, and it isn't your fault, and you need to better yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's two choices you can have: is blame everything on your upbringing, and I'm doing this because I was brought up this way, and I had this happen to me, and this and that, or fix it, do something about it.
Yeah.
And don't go down that path of, you end up in prison or some shit.
Yeah. I can think of a really good example of that actually, which a lot of people know. David Goggins.
Yeah.
So he grew up he had a fucking horrible upbringing. He was his father was abusive.
Right. Yeah.
Beat him, his mum, and his brother, and they eventually managed to get out. Him and his mum ran away, and then growing up, he still after that didn't have an easy time. And I mean, he could have gone down a completely different route, and become a drug addict or abuse someone himself. Because a lot of times, like psychologists will say to you, like abusers or abusees become abusers. But I mean, look at him; he's done pretty well, hasn't he?
He's done absolutely.
I've just been listening to his books, so it's quite interesting that we're talking about this. But yeah, he's very, very interesting. So you can't let whatever your background is. I think you can't let it destroy you.
You can't let it tear you down.
You can't play that victim mindset. If you're sitting there right now and you're thinking, "Oh, life's so bad for me," blah blah blah, like just stop it right now, because everyone's had things that have happened, and I don't know what's happened to anyone, and I'm sure I'd feel empathy if I heard certain people's stories, but at the same time,
sometimes you hear it,
you don't care.
No one else cares. You hear it, and you're just like, oh. In your head, you're like, you can change this. Like, when someone's telling you how, they have motivation to do this and that, and I know you're not in their head, but hearing some stories, you're just like, oh, dude, if you only got in the gym, and you only got in the gym and you started really, and if you only started not watching this bullshit that's on this, entertainment that's on YouTube that doesn't provide any kind of fucking, doesn't teach you anything in any kind of way. If you started sitting down, listening to podcasts, listening to things about bettering yourself, your whole mindset would change.
The only reason I'm able to sit here now and talk about this stuff and kind of have a general understanding of it is because I've listened to so many audiobooks and podcasts from people who've tried to build up their mindsets also.
Yeah.
And it's, at first you kind of, when you first start looking into mindset, you're like, oh, it's all kind of almost fantastical, like rubbish.
Yeah.
You think it's just like sort of
I
woo
think people are
magic.
just chatting
And, like,
rubbish.
yeah, it's like, oh, do you really need a mindset, or you just like no, like, but it's like it's extremely, extremely important.
Yeah.
Have you seen that study? I can't remember what year that study was out. I think I might have it on my notes, but there's a study basically where they viewed people's mindset on stress.
Right.
They got a bunch of like CEOs or business owners or something like that, and they monitored their health, and they asked them what their view on stress was. And certain people said that stress was like a good thing in their job, that it kind of motivates them to work harder and try harder. And there was another group of people who said that stress is terrible for them and they hate it and they just can't wait to just earn enough money so they can retire and finish with this. They found that the people, like, by quite a, I think it's like 60% increase in mortality for the people who viewed stress in a negative way. So 60% more of them were dying earlier than the people who viewed it as a positive thing. That's literally just your mind.
That is
affecting your body to an extent where you live longer.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it? That's
that just shows the
absolutely
power
crazy.
Of the mind.
Yeah.
How much we don't understand about it as well.
How linked it is. So if you care at all about your physical health, you need to be working on your mindset. You need to be pushing yourself.
I've got a little thing I heard from somewhere. Might have been a podcast or something. They did some tests on this guy, and they put him. This could all be bullshit, but I believe it was a proper study they did. They did a while
I'll tell you
ago.
what. I'll try and find this.
Yeah.
And I'll put all the studies.
Link it.
We'll link it
just to show that we are speaking facts.
Because we might be chatting shit. So I'll try to find it.
Yeah, this was a very, very early study that was done a while ago. Otherwise, it wouldn't be allowed now. But how it goes is they put this dude in a big like refrigerator. Told him it was really cold in there. So he went in, and obviously his brain thinks it's cold in there. So he was told it was a fridge, whatever. So he's going in, and his body over time starts to shiver. He starts to get really cold, and he starts to really suffer, and he his brain's shutting down, and he gets to a point where he's dying. He is dying. His body thinks he's cold. Little did he know, it wasn't cold in there. It wasn't getting colder. They never changed the temperature. They just told him it's gonna get colder. So he's in there, thinking it's getting colder. He's shivering. His body, his brain is telling him, because of the information that his brain has received, that it's gonna get colder. His body is shutting down.
Wow.
And the temperature never changed. It never changed in there. So that just shows you his brain almost killed him.
Just the thought of I'm getting colder.
I'm getting colder. This is getting colder.
Killed him.
It killed him. Well, it nearly killed him.
Him.
Well, it might have killed him. I can't remember how the study goes. It possibly might have killed him.
That's amazing.
And
did they recreate it with someone who they said it's just a little bit cold in there?
I don't remember if they did or not. I don't think they did. Hopefully I got that
Both.
Study somewhat accurate. And I'll
try to find it.
Yeah, try to find it. And so his brain, to sum that up, his brain believed it was getting colder, therefore it started shutting down his body.
That's amazing.
To protect him, it started shutting down and thinking it was getting colder. It never was getting colder at all.
That shows. What if you have? So let's relate that to like everyday life.
Yeah.
So let's say you're going to your job, you're kind of working a normal job, and you feel like things are getting worse and worse, and you're viewing things in your mind as, oh, there's no escape. There's no way I can change my life. It's just I've just got to deal with it how it is. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not going to do anything to change it.
Constantly
if you're constantly doing that, you're going to cause yourself actual physical damage.
You actually are.
Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's why they say like, you can see an unhappy person. Like if you see someone who's like in their 50s and unhappy, they just look older and uglier than people who are old and happy and have been happy forever.
You're right. You're completely right.
And it's probably because they seek things like instant gratification, so eating poor food, smoking, drinking, things that are going to give them a quick sort of escape from things. Whereas if you're someone who's content with how you are at, or you're like, yeah, I'm working towards this, and you do it for 20 years and you're not really distracted by all that other rubbish,
it's keeping your mind healthy.
You're gonna
in a way, isn't it?
physically stay healthy as well, and your mind's healthy. So that maybe has
healthy.
Both things affect you. I've got another one.
Go on.
That I've heard very, very recently about rats. Study with rats. It's really good. So it's kind of, I'm not sure if this is it's kind of a similar thing. It is a similar thing. So they got a load of rats and they chucked them in some water, so they had to swim, and it was like in a little box or something where the water's too deep for the rats to stand up.
Okay.
And there's no way of them actually getting out, so it's like a plastic box keeping them in. And the rats swam around for like a little while, quite a while, and if you left them in for like, I think they worked out the amount of time the rats could do it till they just drowned. So they just gave up and just drowned. And it was something like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever it was.
Right.
And they did it again, but this time after, I think it was between 5 and 10 minutes, they saved the rat. They saved one of the rats. Okay. They've saved it. It's now not in the water anymore.
Yeah.
They then found if they put that rat back in, it could last for literally 10 times as long as the ones that were dying when they first went in. So the reason why is because the rat knew it was going to be over at some point, or thought it was going to be over at some point. So rather than being able to swim 15 minutes, it would swim for 2 hours, 3 hours, because it was like, at some point,
I'm going to get out.
Someone's going to get me out. So I might as well just keep swimming until eventually they get me out.
Yeah.
And it was that, obviously, that it literally changed the rat's mindset to keep going.
That's really interesting.
And it lived like a lot longer.
Than the others.
A lot longer. That was actually in David Goggins' book as well. David Goggins' audio book. I heard that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That reminds me of another one I've got.
We're reeling them off.
I don't know. This is a little less relevant to mindset, but it was loads of fleas. They put fleas in a jar.
Yeah.
And the fleas would jump, and obviously they could never jump above the height of the jar with the lid on it. Now they took the lid off. The fleas still couldn't jump. They didn't think they could jump past the jar. So not all of their limit. Obviously, fleas we know fleas can jump very high. And they couldn't jump past this jar, right?
Foot. So a jar's like that.
Yeah.
A flea can probably jump twice, 3 times.
Probably jump even more than that. I don't know the facts, but anyway, the flea can jump past the jar. They took the lid off, and the fleas still didn't jump higher than the jar. Now then, the fleas laid eggs and they had babies, right? Now, when the babies were born, the babies never learned to jump past the jar, and the lid was off for their whole life. The lid had always been off, and they couldn't jump higher than the jar.
They've never seen anyone else do it.
What that tells you about something, I don't know, but
that's crazy.
There you go. It's hereditary, basically.
I guess it's saying that almost whatever your mindset is, you'll keep the mindset.
Yeah.
And that mindset will be passed down through generations.
Yeah, you could even say like the people you're around. Obviously, fleas aren't as fucking smart as us, but the people you're around are gonna hold you back.
Yeah.
And you're around loads of people that
if they're only trying to jump so high.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You know, you're around loads of people doing the same constant thing all the time. You got to break out of the routine.
Yeah.
You got to break out of the routine. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, it's so important, and I don't think people quite take into account how important it really is.
Really do. As soon as you break out of the routine, you do something that you don't see other people doing. You view yourself higher.
Yeah.
You're like, I've got something. I've got something to do. I've got something to look forward to. I've got something to grind on. Pushes you forward. Towards.
Yeah.
It really does.
Absolutely, and sometimes it can be completely unrelated to. Like, I can be doing one thing and it can motivate me to do another thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm trying to think of how to explain this. So, let's say going to the gym. Going to the gym motivates me at my job. I don't know how or why, but I just feel like once I get that momentum of hard work going, I can go, like, if I go to the gym in the morning, come home, and I have like a lot of work to do for my job, I'll sit down and I'll do it so much better after I've had a workout, because I'm kind of like in that spiral of like upward spiral of, right, I've trained hard, bang, right, now work, boom.
You're so right. Like when I have days where I go to the gym, I'm a different person. My day, I don't feel tired. I don't get tired, right? You wake up, you know, you go to the gym, you put in the work. If you got a constant day of constant things lined up and you keep doing them, you get them done.
Yeah.
Whereas like if I have gaps in between stuff, if I go to the gym, then I have like 3 hours where I'm not doing anything, and I decide not to do anything and just chill out and whatever, you get tired. You really get tired.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. You think by taking breaks you're going to conserve your energy and stuff. It's bullshit.
No, it's rubbish.
You need
just
to keep going.
Plow on.
You need to plow on.
Keep that spiral going.
And then you'll feel like you'll get to the end of the day, and you won't be tired, and you'll think you're going to be tired by the end of the day, and you're not.
Yeah. Tired is it's a state of mind, isn't it?
I got so I've been working evenings at the moment, right? So I was really, really tired before my shift, and I got to work, and obviously I'm doing quite physical stuff at work, and by the end of it, before I started work, I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna go to work. Afterwards, I'm gonna absolutely crash out, get an early night, go to bed. I finished work, I went home, I was energized just because I did that physical activity of just being at work and, you know, doing what I do. And I got home and I weren't tired anymore because I did something, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's big. You can really, it's really, really good to just keep that spiral going, keep that energy building.
It is.
I'm trying to think of a way to explain it. So, a plane, almost, I guess.
Okay.
As long as a plane keeps moving forwards, it's not going to fall.
It's not going to fall down, no.
The plane stops, like you're flying a plane, plane's going like that. If it suddenly just stops moving through the air, you don't hover.
No.
Stay there. You'll just plummet.
Falling, yeah.
You'll plummet straight down. Because the only thing keeping it up, there's nothing pushing the plane upwards. It's just pushing it along. It's keeping it flying.
You're a plane, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, treat your life like a plane.
Treat your life like you're a plane.
You're a plane, and you just want to keep going forwards. And as long as you keep going forwards, you'll keep going up.
Yeah.
And if you stop at any point, it's just going to slowly go down.
Exactly. And at some points in life, you might change altitude.
You might need to change altitude.
You might swoop lower. You might swoop higher. But at the end of the day, you've got to keep flying.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
Let's try and think of some like actionable things that people can do to develop their mindset. Like, what do you tell yourself to try and develop your mindset?
The stuff I'm watching all the time. So stuff I'm consuming.
So try changing your kind of social media so that you're seeing the right stuff.
Seeing the right stuff, not just this brain dead scrolling. Because scrolling can be great. It can be great. Most of the time, it's awful.
Yeah, it's really great to spend loads of your time.
No, exactly. Yeah, great's the wrong word I should use for that. But if the stuff you are scrolling for is solid, good mindset, work on yourself stuff. I remember when I first, I've got a love-hate relationship with TikTok, right? So at many points I've deleted it, many points I've re-downloaded it. And I noticed every time I re-download it, I start off with very solid mind growth stuff, motivational videos, gym, that kind of stuff. And slowly, I'll only like the gym stuff, only like the motivational stuff. Slowly, it will throw in a little video of something else that I've never liked, I've never wanted to be on my For You page, my feed. And then slowly, all the motivational stuff disappears. And then I notice I'm just fucking swiping through like fucking cat videos and fucking absolute bullshit, right?
All that dumb shit.
All absolute dumb shit that I don't care about.
Yeah.
And yes, it's entertaining, but you got to realize this isn't helping me in any way. I need to stop. There you go. I delete TikTok again.
Yeah.
And although TikTok is an amazing platform to put if you are working on something, a brand or a company or some kind of content, TikTok is the way forward to do that. Absolutely. Right now, currently, anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, the way I use to try and change your mindset is definitely the stuff I consume and the people I'm around.
100%. Well, this is why I don't necessarily think watching the news and getting kind of mindset advice off the news is a great idea, because they'll tell you sometimes people get depressed and they've got to take pills and be losers and sit at home, and like, no, like,
it's a very much telling you you're okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's okay to
We're
feel
gonna
this
look
way.
after you.
It's
You're
alright
gonna
to
take this
cry
pill.
sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
no, you've got to try and develop a mindset. You go, no,
Yeah.
that is not okay.
No, I'm gonna fix
That's
it.
rubbish.
I'm gonna do something about it.
And this, a lot of people, I think, maybe there's a lot of people will watch this and go, no, I completely disagree with them, and that's fine. But you really need to try and just control your own mind.
Don't let someone else tell you, oh, it's okay,
really
you're gonna
as simple
take
as
this, and then you might feel better. You might
Yeah.
feel okay. Like you're gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that. No, you've got to really figure it out for yourself. And
yeah, you've really got to focus and go, no, I'm not going to be sad. I'm not going to think this way. I have control. And you'd be amazed at like how much sadness you can just completely get rid of if you think like that.
And even
It's
if you don't believe it, the mind is going to believe what you say. Go something like that. Mind is going to believe what you tell yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you constantly tell you, maybe you're not okay, right? Maybe you're really going through a shit time. If you keep telling you, no, I'm okay, like I'm sweet, I'm fine, like
guess what you end up being?
You're gonna believe it, and you're gonna get fine, and you're gonna, you're gonna progress. And that's not saying don't talk to anyone, and every single person that asks you say, I'm fine, I'm great. No, there is times you do need to chat with your boys.
So look, I'm not happy about X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, how can I fix this?
And the boys go, right, let's sort this out.
Let's go to the gym.
Let's go to the gym. Let's work on X. Let's work on Y.
Shit,
Yeah.
Or even with you girlies. No, let's not. Oh, let's let's go out to the club and let's get, let's talk to some boys and get some validation. No, it needs to be right. I don't know what girls do. Right, let's go get a coffee, and
that's a girl thing to do, isn't it?
That's a girly thing. Let's go get a coffee.
We go get coffee.
We get coffee. It's not a girly thing actually. Fuck that. But still, go get a little iced coffee.
Iced coffee. There you go.
Go get an iced coffee, little boba tea or whatever these.
Boba tea.
A colourful coffee. Let's go get. You go get a coffee with some colours in it, and let's go talk about girly stuff and get your mind straight. Let's go do a bit of yoga, a bit of. I might be. That's not me in a mean way. I love that girls do that shit.
We're joking, guys. We're joking.
Just made up a word. I don't even know what I just said. I think that's great.
But yeah, no. But yeah. I think we've made a lot of good points here. I think we'll have to do a part 2 on mindset.
I think mindset is massively important.
Yeah,
mindset.
And
name for the podcast: the mindset, mind reps. That could be an option.
I think. I think we'll do this again. I think we should do this again, but like not soon. It should be a little while till we do it again.
Yeah,
we
see if anything changes.
Kind of like an update on our own kind of mindset and stuff.
Agreed.
And see how we get on, because we're not perfect and we're trying to build it, but we're actively working towards it. And I think that's what everyone should be doing. If anyone's going to take something away from this podcast today, it should be I need to actively work on how my own brain thinks. I'm not going to listen to the news. I'm not going to listen to some influencer who tells me that this is hard or that's hard, and I need to look after yourself and have a self-care day. Just no, I'm going to think how I want to think. I'm going to say what I want to say, and I'm just going to be who I want to be, and live life the way that I need to live it and be happy, and not let myself get depressed. Because I feel like we need to, if we're going to do one thing, we need to stop people's depression, because that stuff's going to destroy people.
I feel like almost at the moment the whole fucking world is telling you you're depressed.
They're trying to get inside your brain. They're trying to
exactly.
Everyone you speak to does it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sometimes you get depression. I take pills for my depression. All this rubbish.
Yeah.
Stop taking pills for your brain."
Tristan Tate said this. They said, if you had a 6-pack, it's
gonna make me laugh.
You probably had it. If you have a 6-pack and you have good income and you have disposable money and you can spend it on things you like, spend it on whatever any bag you like, are you going to be depressed? Probably not, right? Probably
No.
not. If you have a six-pack, amazing
You're probably
physique,
depressed because you don't have
good
a
income,
six-pack.
probably, yeah. You
Because you
probably
don't have a
won't be
six-pack and
depressed after.
you're not happy with your physical shape. You're not happy with your financial shape situation.
Yep.
Or whatever else it is, maybe friendships, maybe relationships, whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's something in your life that is causing you some sort of sadness. It doesn't mean you need to get depressed about it,
No.
but you need to work towards. I mean, there's things in my life. My life's not perfect at all. Nowhere near. I've still got a long way to go.
Long way. It's all about growing, but we're in that stage where our mind is completely growing. It's completely changing. Our opinions might change.
Yeah.
You know,
this is why I don't think anyone should take our word as gospel. Not that anyone will, but no one should take anything we say as gospel. This is us
apply it to your own life. Apply it to your own life. See if things that we have said is like, oh yeah, I can apply it to my life. If you can't, and you feel like you're in a situation where it's very difficult and stuff that we've said you can't do, then I'm sorry.
We're just saying what's worked for us.
But this is work for us. Yeah.
How we think.
And this is how we think. And
hopefully it will help someone. Yeah.
Hopefully it helps people out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's it. Yeah, wrap that one up.